And if you do want to speak, please raise your hand in the audience or on the web. First of all, let's do a roll call to make sure I got a quorum here.
Okay, roll call. Chair Fong,
Here.
Kiga,
Yep.
Ka'apu, not here yet. Magawai,
Here.
Mitsuda, not here. Na'auaota,
Present.
Pang,
Here.
Yamamoto, White, not here. Mita, Kentril,
Here.
Christian.
Here by Zoom.
Okay, 9 members present.
Very good. Thank you very much. What I'm going to do is ask, are there any objections? We do have a special presentation this evening to a well-deserved honoree, but I want to take it out of order. It's listed under item number 7 on the presentations of certificate of recognition for Liliha-ʻālewa Elementary School. But I hate to have the principal stick around for the rest of the evening, although we're excited. Not yet, not yet. So are there any objections that we take this item out of order? Any objections from the board? Any objections from the public? Okay, we'll do that. Secondly, just for information, Kamehameha Schools project updates, they asked for a continuance to next month. So when they make the presentation as to what they're planning to do on the campus that may affect our neighborhoods. So it will be for next week. I'm sorry, next month, not today, this evening. Okay? So at this time, what I'd like to do is call up, first of all, Chance and Cora, if they'd all stand up and come to the front. And if we can have our honorees principal, Harry, come up. I'm going to use this mic. Stand right over there. Right there. You're good. You're good. You're good. And I'm going to give this to Rita. You want or you read it? Okay. You can read. Come right over here. I do it. Stand right here. Good. You're good. All right. All right. This evening, we're very, very happy to recognize an elementary school that has been around for 100 years. You know, I do. Oh, yeah, give them a big hand. 100 years. That's a little older than some of us. You know, I really believe that education is a deciding factor in a successful career. And I believe that education, good education, it really begins at a very early age. And our honoree actually is no exception. They have been teaching our young ones for the last 100 years, and they have had very successful graduates. So at this time, I wanted to we, the board of Neighborhood Board 14, would like to recognize Liliha-ʻālewa Elementary School. And I have 2 graduates from that school. I won't ask what year. And if I can have Chance read the certificate of recognition.
Yes, so the Liliha Neighborhood Board proudly presents this certificate of recognition to Liliha-ʻālewa Elementary School in celebration of its 100th year anniversary. We acknowledge your exceptional contributions and unwavering dedication to the school's ohana and to the community in shaping a multitude of students over the past century. We laud and encourage your continued work to empower and inspire the next generation of kind, caring, and collaborative leaders. The Liliha Neighborhood Board is honored to recognize the home of the Chiefs for your remarkable impact on your students and the lasting mark you have made on our community. Thank you.
How about we round of applause? And Tara, why don't you come over here? Chance can be over here, and then we take a photo op. Then I'm going to ask the principal to say a few words.
All right, well, I had a part in 6 of those 100 years. So I've been principal there for 6 years and current principal. And, the culture there is just it's great when I got there. And now, I'm glad that Chance, he actually put in our vision of success for these kids in this, I guess, this recognition. So again, our vision is to inspire kind, caring, and collaborative leaders who will positively impact the world. And it's just the generations that came before us, the past principals come and go, but really it's the staff that's pretty stable there. And the current staff is wonderful. I love being there. And for generations to come, I think you'll see a lot of great things from Liliha-ʻālewa. So on behalf of the staff and past, principals and administrators and families and kids, I accept this recognition and I thank the board.
And I want to thank Chance and also Carl for initiating this certificate of recognition. Thank you. Okay, moving right along. Honolulu Fire Department. No fires. Okay. How about the Honolulu Police Department? Are you on board?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Oh, okay. Go for it.
Good evening, everyone. This is Lieutenant Creighton Hatiko up at the Kalihi Police Station. I'm one of the nighttime commanders. Let me give you the statistics for the month. For March, you guys had 2 aggravated assaults, 6 auto thefts, 11 burglaries, 1 robbery, 1 sex assault, 3 simple assaults, 12 thefts, basic thefts, and 3 unauthorized entry into motor vehicles, car break-ins. There were 1,336 calls for service, which is up a little bit from February, which had 1,234. The aggravated assaults were assaults against our elderly. And in both cases, arrests were made because they were acquaintances. Tip of the month, the Honolulu Police Department wants to remind everyone about driving distracted. Which includes not only cell phones, but also just basically not paying attention to your driving. The way with the model cars are now with the large screens inside, it's easy to get distracted or take your eyes off the roadway. So we want to try and suggest that you try and concentrate when you're driving to prevent any kind of accidents. I also wanted to address recently we had an unprovoked attack on an elderly victim in the Nimitz area. And it's not necessarily close to where you guys are, but many of our residents use the transit system. And the victim was coming from a bus stop and going to her place of work when she was attacked. We've found out that she's acquainted with the suspect. So it's not a random act in the sense that we don't know who the suspect is. We don't have a name yet, but we're still canvassing, and the victim is not yet able to assist us with getting identification because of her injuries. But we believe we're going to be able to identify this person and get them into custody as soon as possible. From that, I'll open up to any questions or concerns.
Any questions from the board? Any from the public? Oh, yes, Donald?
Yes, upper Kamehameha Heights area. I look at this crime mapping. There's a lot of cars being stolen and break-in. Is there any type police department is doing?
We normally try to patrol up in that area, but because of the congestion, not in terms of like traffic wise and stuff like that, but there's just so many homes concentrated there and a lot of street parking. So where you have a lot of street parking, there tends to be a lot of break-ins into cars. And when the cars are broken into, unfortunately, sometimes they get stolen. Some vehicles are easier to steal than others. But that is something that we normally patrolling for, looking for people at night in neighborhoods where they don't appear to be to belong there. People lurking in the dark, that kind of thing. So it's something we do take seriously.
Yeah, on this break-in,
Mhm.
are they going through the door, like I'm breaking the door glass and getting in? Or is there using this type of tool that's available that they can unlock the cars?
We haven't seen too much evidence of them unlocking the cars in your guys' area. We have seen some acts of that in the Eva Beach area, Ocean Point area down that side. But your guys' side is mostly checking doors to see if they're open. And if they have visible bags or anything like that, they'll smash the window.
So you're telling me our residents are not locking the doors of their cars at night?
Well, I never want to put any kind of blame on the victim, but sometimes that happens. I do it myself. You feel you go home, you're in a rush. Sometimes you forget to lock the door.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome, sir.
So Donald, don't forget to lock your car door.
My car doors are always locked at night.
Very
I
good.
double check.
Any other questions? Yes, Cora.
Hello?
Okay, for the home break-ins,
Mhm.
is one of those on Kula Street? Because I saw a lot of police cars one day. I think that was probably about a month ago, and I went out to check, and they asked me if I saw anything. But it's a home that's been unoccupied for a while. It's secured. There's no alarm, but they said somebody broke in and rummaged around a little bit, but no vandalism. So I'm just curious if that was one of them.
Yeah, if it occurred in March, that's one of the stats that we included. Yeah.
Anything more on that, or is?
No, unfortunately, because we had quite a few of them. I'll try and look through it again though, but mostly I like to focus on the assaults and the sex assaults. Unfortunately, for the sex assault that we're showing a stat for, I took our computer apart and I can't seem to find it. So I'm gonna keep looking for it though.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
No
Any
problem.
other questions from the board? How about the audience? How about WebEx? If not, thank you very much. Oh, yes, Liana, please come up to the mic.
Hi, I'm Leanna Ben.
Hey, man.
We're part of the Neighborhood Watch,
Mhm.
Nuwano and Bates, and Adam Picadura is our coordinator.
Okay.
We haven't seen him walk with us. We'd love to have him walk with us, but more importantly, there are trolls under the bridge by the Texaco station. And we're wondering because our neighbors see bicycles and scooters go down and up and down and up, especially at night.
Mhm.
So we want to have it checked out. In the past, we've had that area purged because they were robbing scooters or stealing scooters and then fixing it.
Okay.
So-called fixing it. They were replacing parts so they wouldn't be identified as the original scooter.
Like a
So there
chop
was
shop?
Chop shop. Yeah, there was a chop shop down there, complete with cabinets and tools and everything else.
Okay.
So I don't think it's as bad now, but it would be good if people could check on it, please.
Oh, no, we want to make sure we upkeep that stuff. I'll make sure and let them know. And I'll double check with Adam.
Okay, who has jurisdiction on the side of Pali Highway that faces Nu'uanu Memorial Park in the mountain, Pacific Heights side? Is that District 1?
It might be have a little bit of crossover. I gotta look at
Okay.
it. Yeah.
We are seeing homeless encampments along the slopes along Pali Highway.
Along Poly
The
Highway.
dangerous thing is that if they should disturb a rock or something, it'll come down and it'll hit somebody on Poly Highway.
Oh, okay. They're
Okay.
that high up?
Yeah,
Okay.
because we were looking for our feral pigs there and we found homeless encampment.
Okay, I'll make sure I'll notify the CPT and
Civic
I'll let
Heights
the
Road.
patrol officers know.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm going to go to a
Chair.
board member first. Yes,
This is Walin Christian. How's everybody doing?
one second. Go ahead, Waylon.
So I have a quick question. Hi, Creighton.
Hi, Wallen.
When maybe about 12 a.m., 1 a.m. in the morning.
Mhm.
So I live on the corner of Kuakini and Nuwanu.
Okay.
And there's a lot of, I'm assuming is mopeds at that time of the morning. Do we have any officers who are patrolling in that area by Kawananakoa? So that not only the mopeds though, and I know I've heard, and I've called it in before, but I've heard something that's similar to gunshots. Sometimes it's kind of hard to decipher because I've heard one time a transformer. But do we have any patrols in that time frame, anywhere between maybe even 1 to 3? These mopeders are just like flying, and you can hear them very loudly, and they wake me up in the middle of the night. That's how I know. So I just
Okay.
wanted to bring that up.
Okay. I'll make it a point for them to, especially during that time frame. It looks like you see anybody or you just hearing it?
I just hearing because my windows are all shut down because I have AC, but it comes straight through the windows. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So no, I'm just kind of wondering if it's it's not residents or anything. You think it's people
No,
coming
it's
to the
not.
event?
You can hear it's a long-winded sound, so you know it's the mopeder gangs that are traveling.
Okay, okay. I'll make sure and
And
let them
also,
know.
please tell the officers we thank them for their service.
Oh, always, Wallen. Thank you so much.
Okay,
Always.
thanks. Yeah, there's somebody in the audience. Yeah, identify yourself and ask the question.
Hi, my name is Alika Valdez.
Hi,
I
sir.
live on Subdistrict 14 area. I'm on the corner of School and Liliha Street. I live on one of those apartments next to the electricity area where they have all those transformers.
Okay.
So the other week, we just had another assault on my neighbor in my neighborhood apartment. She lives on the first floor. I guess, yeah, police were called in something about like, I don't know if it's a rape or I do know it's an assault, and I know that the mother and her daughter that lives there,
Mhm.
I guess one of her ex-coworkers came in and I guess get bad mental health issues, something like that. But I guess what happened was um he came to our apartment complex and tried to beg her to, I guess, money or to stay over, but she didn't want to because she doesn't feel comfortable with him staying over. And I heard from a lot of neighbors on my apartment, my units and stuff, has said that they seen the same guy hanging out around my apartment, and
Okay.
he's on the third floor.
He used to
And
live there or something?
I still live there.
Oh no, but the guy you're talking about, did he used to live there?
Oh
or
no,
something?
that was his ex-coworker that lives there. She
Oh,
currently
ex-coworker.
lives at the first floor. So at Holokohana and School Street area.
What is the address there, sir?
526 North School Street, 96817. There
Okay.
was police called, and I'm one of those people who did file a public disturbance. So
He was arrested?
what else I mean that? Yes, he was arrested.
Okay, okay. But he's still in the area there.
I don't know. The last time I checked was on Sunday before Monday. I was checking on with the first floor neighbor, and she told me the guy is still in jail in Kalihi. So I guess I don't know where's his whereabouts, but yeah. Also, as mentioned, I know another person before me mentioned about a motorcycle. I mean, I guess moped flying through the streets. So there is a couple every morning, like I said, around 1 to 3 o'clock in the morning in my area, but they would just go through the apartment buildings. So right on Holokahana and or School Street, they would go from School Street all the way out to Holokahana Lane, or they would just come on Holokahana and go to. They would just fly to School Street, like a shortcut.
Yeah.
And sometimes there would be also car break-ins there as well. In the past, we had multiple incidents where we had lots of car break-ins in my apartment complex.
Mhm.
We just had one recently. About 2 cars were vandalized. When one of the neighbors was living the floor before me, and when there was one neighbor living the second floor and the third floor, both cars of and 2 units were damaged. And yeah, so I try to check out what's going on outside. I try to keep awake every morning to see if there's any crimes or.
I hate to interrupt you, but you're asking the police to double check in this area?
Yes. please.
Okay.
I think.
Can you do that?
Yeah, we'll do that, sir.
I think I'll take care
Thank
of
you,
it.
officer. Great
Yeah.
job.
Thank you.
I'm all
Thank
good
you.
for now. Thank you.
Moving along, any other questions or any comments? Somebody on web? Oh. Wallen, are you?
Rules Committee or
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Wyland.
outside.
My bad. I didn't put my hand down.
I think we heard you. Do you have another question?
No, I don't. Sorry, Chair.
Oh,
I
okay.
forgot to
All right.
put my
Okay,
raised
let's
hand
move.
down.
Thank you. Let's move on. Unless there are any questions or comments, then thank you very much, officer.
Thank you. You guys have a good
And
evening.
keep up the good work.
Thank you, sir.
Next, Board of Water Supply, Iris. All right. Yeah, welcome back.
Glad to be here. So I have one announcement. I usually mention main break, so sorry, in March, we did have a main break on March 23rd. It was an 8-inch near 1323 Mamalu Street. So that's the one main break I announced. And then the general water announcement. I do have flyers for the people, and this is my last one for the audience, for the members I meant, and the last for the audience. We're doing Detect a Leak Week, and that's an event. So the Detect a Leak Week is between April 13th and April 19th. So we had the kickoff event at Pro Ridge on Saturday, but there's a closing event on the 19th of this Friday at Kahala Mall, Center Court, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. So this is on the flyer, the time and the location. So we want you to stop by for hands-on leak detection tips, toilet leak detection dye tablets, interactive activities, and swag, plus a chance to win prizes. So let's work together and make every drop count. So we want you to join us, and this is with Hardware Hawaii. That's helping sponsor this event. And the second general announcement, I gave these little cards out, these little red and black cards to everyone. So it's just, you might have seen it on the news. The city's launching the H&L alert for emergency notifications. So it's a new mass notification system that provides residents and visitors information about severe weather, emergencies, and other situations that's affecting the city services. So you'll get this via text or push notices or email. So this HNL alerts replaces the city's current hnl.info. So there's 2 ways to sign up. And there's the customized alert that creates an account at hnlalert.gov and select your preferred topics to receive notifications via text, email, or push notifications from the app. Or just if you want urgent alerts, you can just text HNLALERT, HNL alert, and you can text 888-7777 for critical safety alerts by text. And there's no registration needed for that notification. So just the 2 things, the flyer and the little red card. And if there's any questions.
Yeah, I want to thank you. You know what I miss? If next time, if you can, when you come, can you bring those little throw lozenges that I can throw in my toilet?
The dye tablets, I know, I totally had it on the side to bring it because I know you asked and I forgot it on my desk. So I'll bring the-
then I don't have to go to Kahala
Yeah,
Mall.
there we go. I will bring it next month, but they're little dye tablets that you put in your toilet tank and you let it sit, and if it comes up, I believe it's still blue.
Blue.
If it comes up while you didn't do anything, you have a leak, and you should maybe change your flapper or something else. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
It really helps.
Yeah.
It really does.
I do it every once in a while too.
What,
Yeah.
take it as a throat lozenge?
Yeah.
No.
Toilets.
Okay.
Don't eat it.
Thanks, Iris. Any other questions from the board? Any from the audience? If not, Iris, we'll see you next month with the
With the
lozenges.
samples.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, next on the agenda, filling of vacancies. Is there anybody interested in filling the vacancy for Sub-District 4? My understanding there is one person, two people? I don't know. Two, one? Yes, come on up. Give us your name and then tell us why you want to join our board.
Hi, my name is Alika Valdez. The reason why I want to join my sub-district 14, District 14 sub-district 4 board is because that, first of all, we need to fix the roads and the cleanliness of the environment in my street, in my area, to community outreach to be the I guess like for the homelessness problem, crime and activity that needs to be reported to someone like me. So
Why don't you tell us a little something about yourself? What do you do? Et cetera, et cetera.
so what I do is I'm a volunteer at Farrington High School for their basketball, volleyball home games, and I do their jumbotron. Based on my free time, and I like to cruise. I like to talk to other people, meet new people. I'm a people's person. I like to help out people out in the public as well. If I have much of the time.
Okay. Well, first of all, let me ask the board if you have any questions, and then I'm going to ask if there's anybody else that's interested in the position, and then if you folks, the board wants, they can have a motion to approve. Any other questions by the board?
I know you mentioned your top three issues, that being your concern with the cleanliness and the safety run in your area, homelessness, and then crime.
Yes.
I just wanted to see if you had any sort of ideas to help fix those issues, to bring to the table on the board.
I do have a bunch actually, lots of ideas. I could name one of them. This is like for the cleanliness of the sidewalks or trash. So we could host all my neighborhood areas. We could like go door to door, see if they want to join and do trash picking. That's one of my ideas. Trash picking, bring your own bags, and put all the trash inside your plastic bags. Maybe we could also have them bring their own trash pickers, so that way they don't have to use gloves all the time, not too much plastic.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions from the board
I
first?
have a question.
Yes.
Yes, Chair?
Yes, Cora.
Yep. Just curious if you've had a chance to check with the neighborhood assistant to verify that your address is within that sub-district.
That is correct.
You have?
Yes, I already verified.
Okay, yeah, just check.
Any other questions? Any questions from the audience? Okay, stand by. Anybody else that interested in this position? Okay, if not, board, what is your pleasure? I will entertain a motion to approve the appointment of, and what was your name again?
Alika Valdez.
Liliha Valdez.
I'll move.
Moved by Cora, is there a second?
A second.
Second by Darren. Any discussion? If not, all those, we need roll call. Roll call?
Yeah.
Okay,
So-
roll call vote.
Okay. Roll call to elect Alika Valdez to the board for this Sub-District 4 vacancy. Just call his last name Valdez when I call you. Higa
Yeah.
Valdez. Okay. Ka'apu, not here. Magawai. Mitsuda, not here. Naoaota.
Valdez.
Pang. Yamamoto.
Valdez.
White, not here. Nita. Cantrell. Christian.
Valdez.
And Chair Fong.
Valdez, congratulations. A big round of applause. Okay. At this time, what we're going to do, if I'm mistaken, Camelia, we're going to have to. Did you ask Malkabai? Did he vote?
Had a question. Does he understand that the sub-district 4 vacancy is until June 2025?
You understand?
Yes,
Yeah, he
I
understands
understand
that.
that.
Yeah, yeah. Very short term.
Yes.
Committee, I think at this time, you're going to have to swear him in. Is that correct? Okay. Unless there are any objections, I'm going to take, how long will it take you? 2 minutes. I'll give you 3 minutes. 3-minute recess and stay tuned. And our neighborhood assistant will swear you in. Okay, and then you can come back. Where you guys going? Oh, Beth.
Chair. Valdez.
Thanks.
Yeah, no, I just have to bring that up. That's-
Okay, we're ready to resume. Can you all take your seats? Cora, Chance, let's get going. Okay, unless there are any objections, we're gonna get out of recess and go back to regular session. Any objections? Okay, we're back in regular session. And next, reports. Let's see. Oh, resident concerns. Any resident concerns? I have one. On top of Alewa Heights. I thank Hawaiian Electric were replacing the telephone poles, except they didn't get rid of the old ones. So I talked to Hawaiian Electric and they said, oh, the city's got to ask us to remove the poles. I don't know if that's true or not, but I'm going to ask you to go double check on that. We got a lot of poles up there that have been replaced. What I'm afraid of is that the old poles just fall down and I don't know who's responsible for that. Okay. Any other concerns?
Wait, on your subject, the old telephone poles, is there lines still connected to the poles? Because if there is, the Hawaiian Electric is not responsible for that.
No.
It is the so-called people who uses that line, that is the Spectrum and all these other,
No, that's the utility company. No, the answer is no.
okay,
They took off all the lines.
all right.
Okay, any other questions, any other concerns? Everybody happy except me, okay. Moving right along, let's see, any reports of members' attendance at other meetings that may be of interest to us? Okay. OMPO,
So we had two meetings. One was postponed for a week since our last meeting here. First one was on March 12th, and the second was on April 2nd. So the March 12th one, the one takeaway that I want to mention here is that for current projects, transportation projects for Oahu, they're trying to expedite the projects, being fulfilled or being done because of the uncertainty of federal funding. Use it or lose it, right? And then for April 2nd, there was an interesting presentation by the staff of OMPO about multimodal needs assessment. Basically, it's a planning and prioritization tool to help prioritize which projects should get looked at first or put up higher on the list to be done or to be planned. And it's interesting that since 1998 to present, maybe a year or two ago for the data, the number of miles driven on Oahu has gone up 40%. And most of these trips are actually very short, errands and school work. But they did point out, staff did, that a lot of the measurements for accessibility are based on cars. And it really should be looking at accessibility by other means also. So they're trying to build that in. And it's not how quickly you can get there by car, but how easy it is to actually access the things you want to do, like shop, work, go to school. That's being worked on.
any questions for Carl? I got one question. Carl, in regards to bicycles, can they travel down, let's say the two lanes, any of the two lanes, or are they supposed to be only on the right-hand side near the curb?
I'm really not sure about those regulations.
Well,
They-
another reason I mentioned that was I was driving down Queen Street and there was a bike that was in the left lane, not the curb. Near the curb.
Was there a bike path
There's no bike path.
on Queen Street?
And then they can't, I assume, ride on the sidewalk.
No.
Can you go find out? I'm just curious, because I thought I was gonna honk and yell at the guy, but I thought it better not.
It's in the absence of
Well,
a bike path.
I think he's ready to cause an accident.
Mhm.
But anyway, if you can find that out, I'm just curious.
To your question,
Yeah,
an electric bike can go 25 miles an hour. So it is legal for that bike to take a lane.
this was human powered,
Human power,
25
Bike
miles
lane?
an hour. Thank you. Anyway, yeah, go ahead.
Legally, he is able to take the lane. Okay? Because how would you imagine the cyclist making a left turn? He has to get in the left lane.
Except you can't make a left turn down there. So you get to that.
But-
But anyway, that answers my question. Thank you. So he's legit.
Question.
All right, thank you. Yeah. There's a question? Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, Cara, any of those projects are within our neighborhood areas?
Most of the projects that they're mentioning are not in our area. But, we do use H1, H2, H3. So, we are affected, or downtown or Kalihi. But none of the projects per se have been in our neighborhood or area. Some are on Nuuanu. A lot are on Nuuanu with the speed abatement and all of that. But for our area, I keep checking, and there really isn't anything specifically for us. There's some general things, trying to encourage more this sort of transportation of that, but nothing specifically yet that I've seen.
Chance.
And we are actually, in terms of accessibility, our area is very accessible because there's a lot of good bus service here compared to some other areas.
Sorry, hi Cora. I was wondering, for these projects, do any of them pertain to bringing up to date or bringing up to, I guess, code similar to the Nuuanu crosswalk per se? Do any of the projects pertain to that situation where monies are being appropriated or projects being planned to help with that?
Bringing it up to code. These are more planning things, not the implementation phase. So that's kind of separate.
Any other question on the board? How about the audience? Okay, moving right along. Presentations, Kamehameha School project updates will be next month, May. We'll move to the reports. Mayor's representative, Ed.
Hello and good evening. Edward Los Banos, Mayor's Rep for Neighborhood Board 14. Congratulations to the newest member, Valdez, Mr. Valdez. So highlights from the Mayor's newsletter you can find on the city website. Mayor's Town Hall meetings across Oahu have started for the third year in a row. The closest one for this district is probably the one on May 22nd, May 22 at 6:30 p.m. at Bradford High School cafeteria. There are only two in town this year. Like I said, one is in Aiea area, Bradford High School, and then Kalani High School is the next closest one over there towards East Honolulu. That one's on June 5th at 7 p.m. But other than that, you can join me in the next two I'll be going to, which is Mililani High School, Kahuku High School, and Castle High School. So anybody brave enough to do those voyages, I'll be at those. Next up, we have in announcements from the mayor's newsletter, Neil Blaisdell Concert Hall reopened after back of house renovations. So a lot of work done to help the talent and those performing the shows and attract new acts to Hawaii for everybody's enjoyment. I also have from Department of Parks and Recreation, they're doing their annual push right now to hire staff for the city's summer fund program. I did that for about 6 or 7 years and volunteered as a teenager before that in the junior leader program. So big supporter of that. If you know anybody returning from college, it's the perfect job to get them while they're here at home.
How much did they pay?
I know the pay is good. You have to up it in order to kind of compete. I think the last town hall that I was at, they mentioned that the lifeguards are making $19 an hour now for the pool lifeguards. I mean, I used to be a pool lifeguard, and my starting pay, closer to 30 years ago, was was $8.45. So I mean, they got quite a bump up over the several years that I haven't been a lifeguard. I think when I exited some 20 years ago, it was $10. Yeah. So inflation. But it's the biggest. I mean, it's the largest program in the state when it comes to childcare. It provides a very valuable service to our community during those summer months. So anybody interested or know somebody that's not doing anything this summer, have them sign up. It's a great experience. Highly recommend it. Sticking with Parks and Recreation, Hokulea's 50th anniversary happened last month at Kualoa Park, as well as the Charter Commission members were sworn in for their 10-year review of the city charter. So this is kind of a milestone moment for us. I think this is an opportunity to get city charter issues considered, and it only happens every 10 years. So if anybody has anything burning of interest, work with the Charter Commission on that. I know it's like a 2-year process, I believe, to get on the next ballot. Other than that, I do have some follow-up for you on certain items. First one I have is Liliha-ʻālewa Botanical Gardens homeless encampment. That one, there was a coordinated enforcement state city, and that happened on April 2nd, 2025. So that one, they did clear everything, work together, clear everything, push folks out of the park as well. The next area I have is there was interest in doing a similar enforcement or activity in the Nu'uanu Stream Bridge area near Bate Street. So that one is scheduled for next week, Monday. Yeah, and I don't think it's going to stretch all the way up, follow that river all the way up to the highway side, but they will take care of it. Looks like they will get in there. I will try to poke and prod them to see if they can go for it, how far up the stream they can go. But right now it's scheduled to clear that bridge area on April 21st, 2025. April 21st, next week, Monday. No, I don't have a time on my report, but I mean, that sounds like a big one though. Yep. Last issue I had for follow-up was the Alanil's traffic safety concern. This is in the vicinity of Liliha-ʻālewa Elementary School. DTS updated saying that they're still working on completing the investigation in the area, and we'll get back to us as soon as it's completed.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to keep the number 2 and number 3 on the agenda, and you can give us a progress report. Any questions from the board? Yes, Donald.
What is the status of the four-way stopway on Kapalama and Howard Drive?
So that was the one I think the representative from DTS reported last month that they do need a couple months. I think the next action they had on their thing was to get letters out to the neighborhood as well as to the neighborhood board and to do a presentation on it to update everybody on the change in traffic patterns. That would be a significant one. So that's the next thing, but I don't have an update from them today for you on where they're at on getting those letters out.
The one you mentioned was not on the intersection. That was the crosswalk on Bates and Nu'uanu. That's the one she reported. She didn't report anything on the intersection of Kapalama and Hala. You brought it up last month. You said the city was looking at it. So now I would like to know the status of that. And I would like to add that as a number 4 on the list, the status for Kapalama and Hala Drive.
So that'll be Kapalama and
Hala
Hala Drive, 4-way stop.
Right.
Okay, I got it. Anybody else? Board? Audience? Yes.
Chair, Wallin Christian again.
Okay, yes. Softly, Whelan.
No problem for Edward. Hey, Edward, is there any way that the mayor could have a town hall in our area? Because in District 27 alone, we have almost 7,000 people. And I know not all 7,000 are going to go. But Radford High School, the parking is not as, it really can't hold a lot of people. And I'm just wondering if he can somehow find it in his schedule to schedule something in our area, because we have 26, 27, 28, 29 all in this area.
I will raise the issue. I think we did. It is all scheduled, and it does take a lot of work to schedule them all. But we'll see what we can do. I think the last one, like I said, was in June, so maybe we can add one on. But I'll follow up.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Any other questions or comments from the board? How about the audience? None? Thank you very much, Ed. You can go do your taxes. Yes. Oh, Deanna, you had something? Say again?
So the Bates New One crosswalk, the DTS representative, this is the one she did mention, she needs a couple months. So she wasn't going to come to this meeting. Maybe the following meeting is what she was going to come in and do an update on. This is the one where she wanted to take a look at the intersection and they needed to get some designs going. And that's where she was going to present on that update. But she said, not this meeting, but perhaps the following meeting, she'd be ready. It wasn't just the crosswalk. It did indicate that it wouldn't be safe to do the crosswalk without doing the painting as well, the bulb outs and some other safety measures, some temporary safety measures.
Leanna, why don't you come?
Sorry, but this issue has been going on for years. All we wanted to do was paint, white paint crosswalk back. That's all we wanted. And if you drive up and down Nu'uanu, we need that crosswalk. If you wanted to bling other stuff, go ahead and do that later. But right now, we want the crosswalk back on the ground. You took it away, city. And you said, after we paved the road, we're gonna put it back. Well, you fixed the road, you fixed the sewer, you paved it, and no crosswalk. And the bulb out is for Judd and Nu'uanu. We're looking at Nu'uanu and Bates. It affects the schools. You have a temple across the street, you have a church, you have elementary school, you have Kawanakua School, you have the high rise and bus stop. People want to take the bus stop. Go to the bus stop. And they have to either jaywalk or they gotta walk up Judd or down to Ha'oa Road.
Okay, I'm going to put that on the agenda for next week. I noticed it's not on our agenda, so we'll put it on. You give us a progress report. Okay. I know this has been going on for a long time. We're going to put it to rest one way or another. And my memory serves it correct. They're supposed to come back with something that they're going to do in meantime as a interim measure while they're thinking about raising or whatever it is.
They're saying that it's not according to federal standards. We're not getting any federal money for this. Besides, Mr. Trump's not going to give us any federal money. We are Nu'uanu Avenue. It's a small old city street. It's not a federal highway. We're using federal highway standards for this.
Yeah.
It's not applicable.
Leanna, I think we all, sympathize with you, but again, let's get a reading on this one way or another. Okay, thank you, Leanna. Anybody else? Okay, Ed, thank you very much. See you next month. You're gonna have a full agenda. Okay, next, Councilmember Tyler DeSantos Tam.
Hi, my name is Jack Truesdale. I'm the research director for Tyler. This is my first Liliha-ʻālewa Heights neighborhood board. So it's good to be here, or I'm calling in, that is. We, I suppose, don't have too much news to report insofar as legislation, but the biggest piece that I guess we're excited about is the outdoor dining program. The mayor signed into action a couple weeks ago, so that may be something that restaurants will be doing more, that you can see on a day-to-day basis. And otherwise, we've just kind of been busy with budget committee. And if you ever want to tune into some very exciting hearings, the council member is the budget committee chair, and he has been, making sure that our tax dollars are well spent as he asks department heads about their budget plans. So otherwise, not too much other legislation is going on right now, but I'm happy to take any questions or concerns back to him.
Questions from the board? Comments? How about from the audience? None? If not, thank you. Moving
Okay,
right along.
thank you.
Senator Rhodes.
Hello, Chair. Hello, everyone from the board. I hope we're having a good Monday. My name is Sarah Thorne. I'm the legislative aide for Senator Rhodes, and I'll be relaying all of his messages for tonight. So first, the Hawaii Department of Agriculture has created an information sheet to address frequently asked questions about the little fire ants, and I have attached this in my report tonight. Secondly, I introduced Senate Bill 405 relating to neighborhood board meetings. The intent of SB 405 is to allow neighborhood boards to receive and discuss information from third-party reports by a government official not included in a publicly noticed agenda, provided that decisions on matters raised by third-party reports shall be made in a later meetings preceded by a public agenda giving notice of the decision-making. SB 405 is still alive, and hopefully both the House and the Senate will come to an agreement on the language of the bill in order to pass it into law. Next, $125,000 in capital improvement projects funds was released to the Rehabilitation Hospital of the Pacific for the purchase and installation of a new security management system. The Hawaii Department of Health State Laboratories Division confirmed a case of measles in an unvaccinated child on Oahu. The best protection against measles is the MMR vaccine, so please make sure that you are up to date on your vaccines. And lastly, please do not hesitate to call my office at 808-586-6130 with any questions or concerns, or you can also email at sendroads@capital.hawaii.gov. And I'm open to any questions, so thank you so much.
Any questions from Senator Rhodes? Go ahead, Chance.
I'm going to pose this question to both Senator Rhodes' office and then Senator Kim's office, if possible. I wanted to see if the Community Development Block Grant was possibly renewed with everything going on the federal end. If you could just take that back to the Senator, please, that'd be great. Thank you.
Absolutely, thank you so much. Yeah, I'll come back next month with that answer for that. Thank you.
Okay, good. Thank you. Any other questions, comments from the board? How about the audience? WebEx? Okay, moving right along. Senator Kim.
Aloha, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I wasn't sure if my mic was working, but it's good to see all of you. I sent out my committee report to you, Chair, and to the board members. And if you're a community member and want to get my community report directly, please go ahead and send us your email address and we'll be sure to get them to you. I am still at the Capitol doing this Zoom meeting. We are in conference mode, and tomorrow we will be opening the state budget with the House to resolve any differences between the two budgets, and that's always have to go first before we can pass any of the bills. As far as issues with the community right now, I want to let you know that tree trimming and vegetation overgrowth, we received several reports regarding trees that need trimming due to their proximity to electrical lines. And we're more than happy to announce that Hawaiian Electric Company, HECO, have a number that you can call, 808-543-7063, or you can email trimrequest@hawaiianelectric.com. That's trimrequest@hawaiianelectric.com, and let them know where it is you think the trees need to be trimmed or possibly even cut down. But we certainly don't want to start any fires, and that's a sure way to start fires. You're all aware of the 10 red light cameras across urban Honolulu. We have several in our district, and I did put a list of that on the committee report. So you can cut it out and put it on your dashboard so that you don't run any red lights, as well as speeding through the red lights. Let's see. Also, April is Medicaid Awareness Month from Keiki to Kapuna. And so Medicaid and Quest provide essential coverages for a wide range of people in our community. So we do want to recognize the vital role that they play. Also, your taxes are due very soon. And if you need tax help, you can reach out to Hawaii Tax Help and Tax Aid Hawaii for more information. Farrington High School is having a rummage sale on April 19th from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. at the Farrington High School cafeteria. So if you have anything you would like to recycle, please go ahead and drop them off at Farrington High School. And finally, I wanted to address what Chase brought up, CDGB. We don't know yet, and we've met with two of our congressional delegation as to what's happening federally, and everything's still up in the air. There's also a lot of lawsuits going on, and so I don't think we'll know for sure anything until we get to about October, when Congress has to pass certain particular measures. But we are keeping close contact with our congressional delegation and with what's going on in DC. We may have to do a special session if things get really bad and we need to reappropriate funding. But at this point, know that the budget is very tight because of the reports from the Corps about how much money that we will be taking in. And you know that we based our budget based on those projections made by them. But we are doing our best to try to make sure that Hawaii is not impacted by any of the cuts that might come down from the federal government. So with that, I am open to any questions. The last day of session is May 2nd, I believe. And so, yeah, we are in the last phase of the session.
Okay, questions? I have the first question.
Yes.
My understanding is that you introduced the nepotism bill for the
I
Senate.
did.
Yeah, and the Senate, you voted for it. And they went
Yes.
to the House and the House killed it. Do you know why?
Well, first of all, Representative Holt did hear it in his committee and he passed it on to the next committee, and the next committee in the House did not pass it out. And if you recall, when we passed the nepotism bills for statewide, the Senate was in favor of it, but the House had a number of legislators that was hiring family members. And so the only way we could pass that bill was to exempt the legislature. So this year I put in the bill, we shouldn't be exempt. I mean, and the Senate abides by it, but I guess the House have too many members or several members that still hire family members during session, and they want to continue to do so. So
I'm very disappointed with what's good for the goose is good for the gander. I don't see why. For those of you who don't know what it is, the nepotism bill is, it's basically, and no legislator can hire or supervise his relative. I mean, I better not make any mention about your pay raise, then you need to, but so are you going to introduce it again or
I will
next year?
again, but you know that the excuse that they made, because they said they're abiding, they had grandfathered a couple people in, but they're allowing members to.
I know that's
hire
their
for
argument.
session.
Their grandfather. Well, grandfathers die. You know that.
Well, they did grandfather for regular session, but
Yeah,
anything
okay.
past that, they're allowing it for session, claiming that it's hard to find people during session because it's short, 4 months, but Senate does it, and we've been doing it all along without having to hire a family. And so I don't know what the problem is, but I don't want to beat up on my House rep.
No, don't have to. I'll ask our representatives because our two representatives said they'll support it. So I can't belittle them.
Yeah,
But
but if
again, yeah.
the committee
go ahead.
chair doesn't report it out and put it on the floor, and they're not on the committee, they don't have a chance
Yeah,
to.
I know. But I'm a little disappointed being on, the chair of the Hawaii State Ethics Commission. I can't see it. But thank you for your efforts. I applaud the Senate. Any other questions? I hope to see it again next year. Maybe we'll submit some testimony.
Yes,
Questions? Yes, Henry.
Yeah, hi, Senator Kim.
Hello.
I have two questions. One is a simple one. Can you name these people? So we know who
I can
they
definitely
are?
name one that I am aware of, and it happens to be my house rep, Garner Shimizu, who hires his daughter to do his communications, and she was also his campaign chairman during the campaign, and she wrote a testimony in I guess in support of the nepotism law, which seems weird, but she wants ethics to exempt people like herself because session is hard to find and it should be based on their I guess their qualifications. So it's yeah, it was a little troubling to see that. There what I can't think of others, but I know there's others. I know there's one that hires a number of family members, not just one, but several during session. And I'm not sure who that is. So I don't want to give you the wrong names. But I think there's about 4 or 5 of them.
Okay. I
And
mean,
that
that's,
was- and the Senate observes no nepotism, even though there's no law. And we have had that for a long
I
time.
mean, it's good to know who they are, you know what I mean? We don't get involved with the politics of it and whatnot.
Yeah, and we shouldn't have to have a law to do that. We should know, I mean, and do it. That's just not right. But
Correct.
and yeah.
Okay, my second question is, I've been reading about this rip and replace law that
Gut and
is
replace.
in effect. I'm sorry?
Gut and replace.
Oh, cut and replace, yes. I mean, I'm hearing that there's a law in existence, but they're still implementing this type of situation.
Well, gut and replace is really a rule that we have adopted. And the courts did in fact rule that that each bill is supposed to have 3 readings. Okay, and what happens is a bill gets introduced, it passes first reading, it goes to a committee, it gets past second reading, and somewhere along the line between second and third reading, changes get made. Okay, and if the changes are things that were discussed and changes in concert with the title of the bill, like say if it's relating to nepotism, and it's about that, but then along the line it gets changed and all of a sudden it's regarding school teachers. So we got the bill and we want a bill that either didn't pass or didn't get introduced by the deadline. So we want to find a vehicle. And so oftentimes that's done. But if you don't do it and have the correct number of readings, then you're not supposed to do it. And it has to be in line with the title of the bill. So you would not have to be able to do that, teachers, because the nepotism bill says relating to nepotism, then you couldn't do it anything about teachers unless it was teachers not hiring their relatives or something. But what you're hearing is that sometimes there are numerous bills introduced, like say on gaming, say there's several bills on gaming and most of the bills die, but they want to take words from one of the bill and put it into the bill. And as long as that bill had 3 readings or had readings, it can be put in. And it's not necessarily a gut and replace. And sometimes it's not even a gut and replace, it's only a replace. Because they leave in the bill and they'll put part 2. And in part 2, they're add on a whole bunch of other things like a Christmas tree kind of bill. And you're not supposed to do that.
Yeah,
without
the
getting-
bill I was reading about was written about 500 words from the first reading, and the final reading was over 2,000 words added on. So it's like entirely different.
Yeah, if it's not related, if the
How does the public, anyway, how does the public get to dispute that anyway?
Yeah,
Or
weigh in on
we
that.
end up filing a lawsuit?
Yeah, well, you have, the public needs to let their legislators know that it's not acceptable. I know we had a bill that came in and it had a part 1 and a part 2. And the part 2 didn't really relate. And so when it came over to us, we cut it out. We said, no, this doesn't purport to, the title, and it was put in. And so we took it out completely. So we try to police. I am very big on bills getting heard. If you want to put something new in, then you got to go through a public hearing. You got to go and let the public know the bill's changed dramatically, and therefore it needs a public hearing, even though it relates to the title. You cannot change a bill dramatic. Like we cannot say, sports gaming and now put in casino gaming. That's a huge change, right? That's a big change. And yeah, so even though it's gaming, it's still a big change.
Thank you for your honesty.
Okay, any questions from the board? Comments? Okay.
Chairman?
Yes, Cora?
Okay, Senator Kim, thank you. Are you joining us for our discussion later on House Bill 1308?
1308, can you remind me, we have a hard time remembering the number.
Oh, legalize online gambling, speaking of
Oh,
which.
that's sports betting. The sports
Yep.
betting game. I'm not sure because I'm here because we have a conference going on. It depends on if I have to go into a meeting.
Okay, just
Stay
curious.
on as long as I can.
Well, then maybe I should ask now, what's your position on that bill?
I voted WR with reservations. I have some concerns about it. I also feel, and a lot of my constituents have contacted me on both sides, but a lot in support, feeling and believing that sports gaming is going on now. It's been with us for a long, long time on football and all sorts of games. You can do solitaire for money on your iPhone. You can bingo on your iPhone. It's all there, and we're concerned about making sure that we can regulate it, and so people don't get hurt. In fact, if they're doing it, and if they lose or they win, that they're able to get their winnings or not get, or if they owe any money, that those monies get paid out. Also, that there be earmarked, some of the profits would be earmarked for education and so forth. So having another area or another source of money coming into the state without having to tax the people more, especially with the cuts coming down from the federal government, is also one of the reasons why people do support it. But I think the biggest reason is to make it safe, make it regulated, because it is going on now, continuously have been for years.
One of my concerns is the big companies that are operating the platforms. They're really set up to, they create a system where people are kind of sucked in. Initially, things are good, but then they get harder and harder. But
Carl, I'm going to interrupt you. Why don't we wait until we get that bill, okay? Then we can discuss it one way or another. Any other questions? If not, Senator Kim, thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a nice
Okay. Moving right along, Representative Taniguchi. Jenna? No. How about Representative Hope? No. How about Representative Hussey?
I'm here.
Oh, good. Any report?
Well, let's see. Happy to talk about some of those bills that Senator Mercado Kim was just referring to. I also have the same concerns about nepotism, and it's too bad that bill didn't get to a place where we could have dealt with it on the floor of the House. I do think that's a very serious issue, and it's embarrassing, frankly, that our body, that the House of Representatives, has taken such a lax perspective on that issue. Anyways, let's just say, we're going into conference right now, and I'd like to, answer any questions that you guys have about specific bills that are concerning you.
Do you have any questions on any bills that are pending for the representative? No, I guess not. But I'm sure you'll hear from us if we have any concerns, especially House Bill 1308. So we're not going to ask you your opinion. We'll discuss it. Thank you. Any questions from the board? Comments? How about the audience? If not, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Yep. Governor's rep? No. Let's see. Anybody from Ed Case's office? No. All right. With that, I'll entertain first of all, any corrections to the March 10th minutes? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of March 10th, 2025. Moved by Chance.
Second.
Second by Zoe. Any discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. See no objections, motion is carried. Thank you. Next, under new business, House Bill number 1308. legalize online gambling for sporting events. I sent this out to the board, this is background, and asked the board if you're interested in discussing this bill one way or another. In other words, you can say, I'm for it, or against it, or just neutral. And two of the board members said, yes, they'd like to put it on the agenda. So that's why it's on the agenda. Now, with that, having said that, I'll open up first to discussion, one way or another, what your brothers, what do you want to do? Because if there's no action by our board, then we're just going to let it, that's it. We'll just remain silent on it. Yeah,
My-
go ahead, Henry.
My question is, why is government trying to infringe on everybody's rights? If they want to gamble, let them gamble. They go in Vegas anyway, at least get a piece of the cut in this state.
Okay, my question is to the board, okay? You can discuss the bill, but does anybody want to take any action on the board, one way or another, like we're in favor of the bill, we want to vote against the bill, or just remain neutral? That's all. So leave that to you folks. And if I don't have a motion one way or another, then I'm just going to move on.
May I?
Yes, well, and softly.
I'm trying to be softer. I don't know if I can put this in a motion, but I really believe that as a board, we should have no authority or influence on an individual's rights. So I don't know if that would be a motion to say that as a board, we shouldn't have any say in it. I don't know. I'm trying to understand your question.
Yeah, the reason I put it out is because this bill was sent to me from by one of the other neighborhood boards. And I brought it to the attention of our board. Now, if no action, if our board does not want to take any action one way or another, then I'm just going to move on and just let it, just let it rest. So unless somebody wants to take some kind of action, I'm just going to say we're going to move on to under
Sure.
committee items. Yes. Cora.
Is it possible to have just a general discussion to get a feel for, or do we have to, it doesn't have to be under the umbrella of actual?
No, you can discuss it. Then after you discuss it, if nobody wants to take any action, then we'll move on. But, if we're just going to discuss it, then it's.
Maybe a time limit.
Okay. Once everybody whoever wants to chime in, you can chime in, but one at a time. Yes, I'm going to ask Alika. You had a hand up.
Okay. Yeah, so I would usually support online gambling because it does not help us get our shares, just to gamble and get our cousin shares, you know what I mean? It's to promote opportunities for other, like businesses or, funding as well. And I guess other people who wants to make a little bit more money on the side. Of course, what I do agree about it is we gotta regulate it. We have to make sure it's safe. We can't just make it legal and then next thing you know we're gonna get sued over some kind of, I guess, violent or they never get their money or that kind of stuff. So I would fight for it.
Okay. Anybody else want to say something? Yes, Chance.
Sheriff, on point of order. What I would
What's your
ask
point?
the neighborhood assistant, would discussing this bill fall under the, I guess, guys, where we cannot discuss anything that affects, I guess the wording would be more than our district for the neighborhood board.
I think the question that she is asking, can we discuss this bill?
Well, it's under just discussion, so you guys can't make any motions on taking action.
Oh,
So-
okay. If that being the case, then I won't call for a motion. It's
Yeah.
just for discussion. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
That's why I put the word discussion. unless somebody wants to make a motion. You're telling us we can't make a motion. then.
Yeah, it would have to be stated that the board would like to.
Okay, thank you. That's why I use the word motion unless I can go. Anybody else want to discuss this without any motion?
Sure.
Cara?
I have several concerns about, it is, I understand it's happening. There's really no way, one can go backwards. It's going to happen. My concern is I've seen some statistics, I don't have them in front of me, that it is kind of a regressive way of getting money from people for operating government, or if you're going to say we're making money, people are making money, we should get part of it for government services, because the people generally, it's been shown that it is regressive. So the people who can least afford it tend to spend more of their income on gambling, those on the high end. So, it's not that efficient a way of getting money. And there's a question of addiction, gambling addiction. So, as the Senator Kim mentioned, there needs to be some sort of safeguard for that. Additional services, public education, but it is addictive, as are other things. And, we know that doesn't work with, prohibition didn't work. So, can't necessarily say
Okay.
keep it that way forever. But again, as I mentioned, the big companies that are doing a lot of advertising on all the sports events, they're making a lot of money off of people, and it's not going to the states where it's legal necessarily.
Anybody else on the board? Anybody in the audience? Henry?
All right. I mean, gambling is just gambling. I mean, right now, you have illegal gambling in our neighborhoods down the street. You know what I mean? In just about every neighborhood already. It's like, might as well make it legal. Designate certain areas. You know what I mean? Make it a real business so people can just go and enjoy their time.
Okay, anybody else?
May I?
Who's this now?
Walin Christian.
What? Go ahead, Walin.
Sorry. As a board member, I am not, neither are any of us in any position to tell any other person how to live, as long as they're not infringing on anyone else's rights or causing harm, whether it's bodily, financially, physically, mentally. So the First Amendment is very clear on that. Congress, and we can put ourselves in that position because we are a governmental body, and that we should be respecting or prohibiting the free exercise thereof for any person to do what they can put into enjoyment. Now, on the moral side, if you want to go there, depending on what your faith is, a lot of faiths say that gambling is not, it's a sin, and it's not a good thing in God's eyes. But who am I as a person to tell the next person if they're doing right or wrong, because their beliefs may be different from mine? And I mean, I could go on and on and on about this. I really do think that, unfortunately, as it was said with Henry, there's gambling going on every single day. Stock market is a form of gambling, but it's very legal. So I think we as a neighborhood board needs to step away from it. I know this is just a discussion. If you are particularly against it, then I would highly encourage you to support those legislators who are trying to stop this, to go in and testify in person or by written testimony, which isn't hard at all. I yield.
Thank you. As a matter of fact, that's a very good suggestion. That's what I was going to say. So this is only for discussion. We're not going to take any action one way or another. So may I suggest that if you feel one way or another in regards to this bill, which is bill number 1308, once you write into your legislature as an individual, expressing if you want, for or against it. And we'll leave it on an individual basis. Any objections to that? Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for your discussion. All right, so moving right along, community organizations, and thank you for your discussion, by the way. Malahia, St. Francis. Anybody want to speak on Mount Lanakila?
I am not prepped to give a report for Lanakila, but I do have the handouts for the
All right,
members.
don't forget to get one. It's pretty good. Yeah, all right. The Lehigh Library, no, Brandon isn't here. Any other nonprofit organizations? No. Any announcements? No. I don't know if I should mention this. I'll mention only because I thought it was very interesting. This morning, I attended a ceremony for the presentation of the Medal of Honor. And it was actually presented a second time, because it was back in 2000 to a Captain Francis Y. He is the only Chinese, individual of Chinese ancestry to receive the Medal of Honor. And that was very impressive. He's a Puno grad, and he did heroics in during World War II during the Leyte Gulf. So I was there representing an organization. So I just wanted to mention that. I was very proud. And I want to thank everybody who has served and is serving. Thank you for your service. So with that, anybody else have some very profound comments? Yes.
Sorry, I should have mentioned this under nonprofits, but I did want to announce that on April 26th, I believe from 9 a.m. to about 1 p.m., the Kaliki YMCA, in fact, YMCAs around Honolulu are going to be having our Healthy Kids Day event. So if you have kids or youth who are looking for something to do on that day, that is a Saturday, please come on down to one of your local YMCAs. Thank you.
Very good. Any other announcements? If not, I'll entertain a motion that we adjourn. But everybody's.
I so motion.
I second.
Who is that?
Wallen.
Wallen. Wallen, seconded by Chance. The time is now 8 o'clock. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Those opposed? Motion's carried. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Thank you to our audience. Please help us put the tables back. Thank you.
Everyone, happy Easter.
Oh, yes. Happy Easter to everybody.
Happy Easter, Senator.
Everybody go to church.
Pray for us.
Thank you.